Hi guys, for those of you that don't know me, my name's Jess and this is my first pregnancy bump date. So right now I am 9 weeks and 3 days pregnant. Yes, 9 weeks and 3 days. I found out I was pregnant when I was 4 weeks. The very first day of my 4th week, I found out I was pregnant. I didn't expect to be pregnant. Something just in my mind, I was like, oh, I'll take a pregnancy test today. And I did not expect a positive result. I didn't realize it until afterwards, but my first pregnancy symptom was actually heartburn. Maybe this is too much information for some of you guys, but I'm gonna be raw and honest about my symptoms. The 4th week was full of bloating, passing a lot of gas, which was hard for my husband to get used to. I was tired and my appetite was super decreased. I'm the type of person that needs to eat like every couple hours. So for me, only eating a couple times a day and not eating very much was really weird for me. So going into week 5, I started week 5 with pretty much the same symptoms. My heartburn went down. I wasn't experiencing that very much, but just really tired, fatigued. I didn't have a lot of energy. And the biggest thing was my boobs were starting to feel sore and tender. I didn't notice much growth yet by week 5, but definitely tender, which was another thing that my husband had to get used to. Early on in week 5, I was actually experiencing some pretty, I don't know if I'd call it pain. It was a little bit painful actually, but more so just extreme discomfort in my lower abdomen. After I went to my first appointment with the doctor, he did a transvaginal ultrasound and found out that I have a cyst in my uterus. He told me it was nothing to be super concerned about. It was just something that happens to some women. They get this cyst in their uterus, and what it does is it releases hormones. So it was a little bit scary, but I did research, found out it was a pretty normal thing, but it was very uncomfortable. It almost felt like somebody was taking my abdominal muscles and just pulling them. I don't know if you can imagine what it feels like, but it's not a comfortable feeling. It had me laying down, almost crying in bed some nights. But it only lasted max 2 days, and then the pain really started to just taper off. And by my next appointment, the cyst had greatly shrunk, which was only a week after. Also in week 5, I wasn't necessarily having any food cravings, but I was having a strong aversion to most of the foods that I normally eat, mainly vegetables. I did not want to look at vegetables. I didn't want to cook them. I didn't even want to think about them. The thought of them just disgusted me. I'm used to a very healthy lifestyle, but this whole pregnancy has thrown me way out of my game, and the best word I can use to describe the pregnancy so far is humbling. It's been a very humbling experience. I quickly learned that I can't do a lot of the things that I thought I would be able to keep up with during this pregnancy. Now, people have told me that a lot of these symptoms will go away by week 12 and I'll be able to get back into my groove, so I'm just looking forward to that day. The start of week 6 was when I started experiencing major morning sickness. I had it here and there, off and on, just a little bit during week 5, but week 6 is when I really noticed it. I would wake up in the morning, feel sick until about 6 or 7 at night, and even then it would come back in waves. I personally never threw up. There were a few times, I could count them on my hand, a few times that I had to run to the bathroom because I thought I might, but I never threw up. Kind of thankful for that. I know a lot of pregnant women have horrible morning sickness, and although I feel like mine has been bad, it has been manageable. My body was feeling sick to the point where I would sometimes get chills, and it almost felt like my body had the flu, but I wasn't experiencing any of the head symptoms that come with a cold or the flu. But I wasn't just feeling sick. I work from home and I work on a computer, and I could only get myself to focus for 20 minutes max, and then I was laying on the couch for at least 20 minutes. Maybe it's part of morning sickness, but my focus was just out the door. I couldn't focus on anything. Another symptom that my husband loves is that by week 6, my boobs significantly grew, and they've only continued to grow since. I think the first few weeks, I'm not even kidding, my boobs probably grew a full 2 cup sizes, which is a huge plus if you ask me, aside from the soreness and tenderness. We also went back for our second doctor's appointment in week 6, just because week 5 we were so early that you couldn't really see much. So he wanted to get me back in week 6, make sure everything looked like it was developing fine, and we actually got to see the heartbeat on the screen, which was so cool. Like, if you've never experienced seeing that, it's unreal. Like, literally, it brought us so much joy to see that heartbeat on the screen. During this first trimester, I know that there's still a higher risk of miscarriage, and I feel like seeing the heartbeat for me was so comforting and calming, and just to know that everything so far is developing how it should be it just overwhelmed me with joy. Weeks 7 and 8 so far have been the worst for me as far as symptoms go. Through those 2 weeks, my morning sickness was the worst. I was feeling worse than I had been. It wasn't getting any better. I couldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. It was pretty miserable, but I kept telling myself, like, I feel miserable, but I'm happy. Like, I'm so happy to be pregnant. Not only was I sick all the time, I was sleeping in until like 9 or 10, and I'm the type of person that normally, before I got pregnant, I would wake up before 7 sometimes. At the latest, like 7:30 was sleeping in. So this was a huge change for me. Week 7 was actually the worst for me when it came to the thought of vegetables. Finally, late into week 8, I started wanting them again, and that was like heaven sent. Like, thank you, God, I can eat something healthy. Because previously I've been eating so many more carbs than my body's used to. I'm sure I've gained weight. That's to be expected during pregnancy, but not necessarily this much during the first trimester. However, I've just been trying to keep in mind that I need to listen to my body. My body knows what it wants. I've just been trying to do my best, and if it means a bowl of cereal for dinner and no veggies to be seen in my house, then so be it. By the time the end of week 8 rolled around, I had tried a lot of things for morning sickness. I tried teas, I tried ginger candies, tried anything that you guys have suggested, I've probably tried. Ginger chews only helped me while I was actually chewing them. Tea doesn't really help me. Sour candies helped me a little bit more than ginger chews, but the thing that helped me the most was the wristbands. Babe, can you bring me my wristbands? These bad boys. So what these are acupressure wristbands. Some people use them for seasickness. A lot of people use them for morning sickness. They smell like peppermint, which is nice. I think the smell of peppermint maybe helps me a little bit, but these things helped me longer than anything has. And when I say longer, maybe 20-30 minutes max. I mean, still not super significant, but enough that I could just relax for a little bit and not feel like crap. Which brings us to week 9. And at this point, morning sickness is hit or miss. Sometimes I wake up feeling phenomenal. Other days I wake up feeling like crap, like I normally do. But I've definitely noticed it's starting to taper off. Maybe coincidence, maybe not, but my morning sickness started to really taper off when I switched the time that I took my prenatal vitamins. My whole pregnancy and months before my pregnancy, I was taking my prenatals at nighttime before I went to bed. But within the last week, I switched to taking them in the morning, simply because I forgot one night, so I started taking them in the morning, and that's the first day I felt good, so I just stuck with it. Like I said, maybe coincidence, I don't know, but if you're dealing with rough morning sickness, it might be worth a shot. So now that my morning sickness is starting to ease up, you can probably hear it in my voice, I'm starting to get sick in another way, whether it's a cold or flu symptoms. I don't think it's the flu. I'm still managing to do things, and I can be kind of a wimp when I'm sick, but I'm getting sick, which is not what I want right now, because medicines for pregnant women are limited, especially when you're in the first trimester. So I've avoided taking anything, really. I'm not just talking about medicines. Like this first trimester, I've cut out anything that could potentially be harmful. I cut out coffee, I cut out using my face stuff, which is why my face is starting to break out again. I just want to play it on the safe side, especially since I'm still in my first trimester. This week I had my first real mood swing. I called Austin something really not nice and I felt really bad right after, and I went and apologized within 10 minutes or so after I laid down and calmed myself down. I just hope he forgives me and he can deal with me the rest of this pregnancy. Another huge symptom that I haven't mentioned this whole time, and again, I'm being real and honest here, constipation is a huge issue. So for me, I had digestive issues in the past. If you've been watching the vlogs for a while, you know that I've had some digestive gut issues and they've not gotten any better since I've been pregnant. Constipation's real and it sucks, especially since there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Let's be done with the weird, gross, disgusting stuff and move on to the fun stuff. Baby Spomer is now about almost an inch long, about the size of a grape or a green olive or a pecan. So just a cute little thing, cute little thing. And the hands are like tiny, tiny, tiny. Just so cute and tiny. I feel like I'm starting to show a little bit. However, that could just be me gaining weight from all the carbs and sugar and stuff that I normally don't eat. But my pants are definitely tighter than they used to be. I haven't had any real cravings, I don't feel. There's nothing that I've wanted that's like, oh my gosh, I have to have that right now. However, I have wanted a lot of tomato-based things. For example, spaghetti or lasagna or goulash, which they didn't have at the store, so I had to go with Chef Boyardee. But no like real solid cravings as of yet. Hey babe, come on in here for this part.
Right now?
Yeah, right now. Now's the part where we're gonna tell them about the highlights of the pregnancy and the things we miss.
I really miss home cooking.
I knew that was gonna be his answer. I should have told you guys before. I knew it.
Oh my gosh.
I have not been cooking very much because number one, vegetables make me want to puke. Number two, well, not so much anymore. Number two, the thought of cooking just means energy wasted and I'm already exhausted, so it just doesn't sound appealing.
We've been eating a lot of
frozen stuff.
a lot of frozen stuff,
and
a
canned.
lot of boxed, yeah, canned.
Definitely not what we're used to.
Nothing fresh.
So the things that I miss are kind of what he said, eating healthy. It's so weird for me to not want to eat healthy. Number two, I miss working out like I used to. I always told myself, and this goes along with eating healthy too, I always told myself, I was like, yeah, when I get pregnant, I'm gonna be so healthy, I'm gonna eat like so clean, so fresh, lots of veggies, like my baby's gonna be so healthy, I'm gonna work out, and everything's gonna be great. That's why I told you guys that this pregnancy has been humbling, because I have not been able to do those things by any means the way I expected to. Third thing kind of goes along with everything I've been saying, is having energy. I don't have energy to clean, cook, work out. I don't really have energy to do anything. I lost my breath today while I was taking a shower.
Am I supposed to talk about anything else I miss?
Yeah, if there's anything else you want to talk about, go ahead and tell them. Anything else from your perspective. Somebody said they want to see it from your perspective.
From my perspective?
Yeah.
I didn't have time to write it all down like someone.
I did. I took a lot of notes because I knew I'd forget, just like I forget to ask questions at the doctor.
Pregnancy brain.
Yeah, that's
Have
a
you
real
blamed
thing.
that yet?
No, I haven't. Well, only sort of. So, something I didn't mention. What?
She forgot to mention pregnancy brain.
During weeks 4 and 5, I felt like I couldn't talk. Like I felt like my brain talk connection was just not there. I was mumbling. I was like stuttering words. I couldn't think of the words I wanted to use. I felt really dumb. All right, you guys, there you have it. Weeks 4 through 9. Next week I have another appointment and hopefully get to see baby growing more.
Yeah.
And we'll update you then.
Ooh, you little baby
He's excited.
Spomer.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
I did mention that you loved the boobs a lot, so
Yeah, that's
we'll
true.
leave that in.
That's true.